I wasn't expecting company, but if you stay out of the shrubs and flower beds, you can stay.
Give 'em a wave, Pops, now that you've invited 'em in. We're two old guys who enjoy playing Sandbox and survival games together. I'm Uncle Craig. Go ahead and sit down. Let's visit for a while.
At the launch of Early Access, like probably many of you, we weren't real familiar with how plots are laid down and how things work in the game. So Uncle Paul found a good location for us, and then we started dropping down plots, and we got what we currently have over this way. We set them down. I think Paul set his down first, and I tried to line mine up with his, and Papa tried to find a good angle. Some people just kind of plopped it down on a spot they liked the most, and we figured we could fill in the plots in between. And it became kind of challenging. We ended up with dead spots. We ended up with areas that we could not fill in between spots because they were too small and things like that. So it just got a little bit, I don't know, it bothered us. And we tried releasing plots and putting them back in, and it just didn't work very well. You could see all the different shaped plots that are here and how they're laid out, funny angles, and then like this one right here, you'll see kind of a diamond-shaped dead spot where I could not fill in the floor. So I decided to make it kind of a thing where there's a broken floor in my build, which is okay. It gives it some character, but it's definitely not what I was hoping for. All right, so let's take a look at what I did over here. I decided for the new release, the release of the new update, that we were going to try to do this in a lot better way. So I did some research into how these plots work, especially when you lay them down. So over in this area, here's where I started. I just set down this plot, and I, from the outside of it, I measured in, well, you can't tell now because I pulled them out, but there were square foundations, and I measured in 4 because I knew that a round plot is 8 foundations in diameter, square foundations. So I laid that in place. And then I put a post at the corner of each foundation out this way to 4, and I went 4 more. And I thought, let me plop this down as the center of the second one. Well, when I did that, the boundary ended up being right in here between the two. So
Like, subscriber, get off my lawn.
And when I went and set up the other 3, you could see we have plot over here. We have plot C, and over there plot B. This one's plot A, and there's plot D over there. When I set down the other 3, I noticed we had a dead spot. Right now it's a big dead spot, and I'll explain why that's there and why it's okay. But it was a much smaller one here, but it still bothered me. Wanted to figure out how in the world I could get rid of that spot. Well, I couldn't put plot C any closer to plot A. I couldn't get it any closer. So I thought maybe if I go further away, it'll make that dead spot go away. So I went out as far as I could, where if I laid down the center of the plot, the boundary of the 2 would still appear. And out here at 11 blocks right there, they no longer connect. So it just ends up being a circle for plot C and a circle for plot A. I found out the furthest you can go out is 10.5. When you measure it on a foundation, you can't get the half. I'll show you why. It snaps there at 1/3. It snaps there at 2/3, but you can't get the half. You can if you use your shift key, but then it's not quite 100% accurate. I like to get a snap point. And so what I did is built a post out this way, or a beam out this way, and you'll notice you have 8 snap points. Well, 7 or 8 snap points. 7, I think. And there's the center one right there. So when I put the center of the plot there, then you get the boundary here. You can see that's a block and a half, or a block and a quarter further. So now plot A, if there was a plot equally distant on the other side, using, basically 5 1/4 from the center, 1 2 3 4, 5 1/4 from the center, then you would have a plot that's 10.5 foundations in diameter. And that's a pretty good sized foundation. I decided I get more area per foundation if I set the centers of each of them that far away. So that's what I did here. So right now what I have is a setup that is the largest area that I could get out of 4 plots. Now it does increase the dead spot in the center, so you got to be creative and figure out how you're going to address that. Sometimes you can rotate things and move them in just right so you close it up as much as you can, but you're going to end up with a dead space here, and just be creative on how you handle it. But your overall area is increased. Now to get this, you do need to measure out from some point, and I've decided to take this as the center plot right here. And you need to go out 10.5 in all directions and put the center of the point down, center of the plot down there, even in this direction. So at the angle, I went all the way out there. So this post right here is 10.5 from the center of plot A, B, and C. And so we put the center of it right there. Now that's with my 4 plots. You can also then go out in every other direction from any of those centers. But if you always keep it 10.5 blocks from that center and put the center of the next plot there, you'll get, again, the largest area that you can get. So our plan, and we're hoping that everybody who's getting started here on the combined servers when release comes, everybody's going to be kind of decent in how they're going about it. But our approach is to have me come into the spot that Paul marks as our place. I'll put down a post. I'll lift up the plot. I didn't mention that I had done that, but I put the post down, I lifted up the plot, and then I reset it with this post at the center. And then I'm going to go 10.5 in all 3 directions and set a post at that spot for our clan, Paul, Papa, whoever else comes by, our clan, to replace my plot with theirs. So I'll release it, they'll set theirs down, and I'll keep doing that. And I'll go out in all directions and keep this one as the center, or wherever I end up being. And hopefully we'll be able to quickly get our location all set up. And like I say, I hope everybody's pretty decent with each other and in allowing clans, especially small clans like ours, to get themselves established like that. So anyway, hope this was helpful for folks and maybe saves you the time that I took to try to figure all this out. Hope to see you in game after the update. Have fun.